planes, because of the way they're built, take off, fly, and within a few minutes or a few hours, they're in a completely different place. I think that's amazing. I can talk about a lot of things that are amazing, like planes. They are so cool. But you know what else I think is amazing? You are. Don't you think it's amazing that a tiny little baby can grow into a full-grown adult in about 18 years? And when you think about that, you're about halfway to becoming an adult. It's kind of like you're a plane on the runway just now taking off, soon to be flying high in the sky. That's what we're going to talk about today. The amazing process you're going through that takes you from where you are right now to where you're going to be in the next few years. The process of becoming an adult. Here's a good place to start. Look at these planes. They're all different sizes, all different shapes, all different colors, yet they can all fly. You're the same way. Look at this graphic of boys. All different sizes, all different shapes, all different colors, but guess what? They're all exactly the same age, and they are all in the process of changing into an adult. Now, these guys are a little older than you. They're about 13 years old. But what I wanted you to see is how different they can look and yet all be the same in many ways. Here's my point. You all go through this process of changing into an adult in different ways and at different times. But the end process is all the same. You'll be an adult someday. And let's use the correct words here because that's important. This process of changing into an adult is called puberty. So what is puberty? How does it work? Well, it all starts with a gland in your brain called the pituitary gland. The pituitary gland releases a chemical that runs through your body telling it it's time to start changing into an adult. Another thing I thought might help you is for you to hear from kids just a little bit older than you, who are already in the process of going through puberty. They're about 13 years old.
A time in your life when you start to grow and your body changes so you become more of an older, more mature body.
I really have to say that it does take you by surprise. It's not something that you could just look on a chart and be like, all right, it's gonna happen this day.
For a boy or a man, you probably already know this is the area under your clothes where your private parts are. The correct name for your private parts under there are a penis and two testicles held in a sac under your penis. Most of the time, your penis is soft. But sometimes during puberty, especially, your penis can get hard. When your penis gets hard, it's called getting an erection. What's happening is your penis is actually filling up with blood. It's important that you know that this is totally normal. It's all part of growing and becoming an adult. And getting erections can happen a lot of times during the day.
Really, it's not freaky for me anymore, but when I was in 6th and 7th grade, it was pretty weird because sometimes you just get in the middle of the class when you don't even know what's going on. You try to feel like it's not there and you're worried about people seeing it, and it's not a big deal anymore.
And do you have any clue when you started puberty?
Last year.
Okay, so it's been about a year.
Yep.
So now the whole erection thing a year later, is it still as freaky?
It's not as freaky because I'm kind of used to it now, but back then, when it first started, it's pretty scary. But now I'm used to it, after a year.
Right.
It's a pretty long time to get used to something.
Right.
At first it was a little frightening because I didn't know what was going on.
That people cannot see, like what many call your private parts. Private parts is actually a good name because they are meant to be private. No one should see them except maybe a doctor, your school nurse, or your parents. Even if someone asks, tell them no. And if they want to show you their private parts, you should also say no. If we were to look inside your body, this is what we would see: a vagina, a uterus, fallopian tubes, and ovaries. All of these are involved in the process of having a period. Here's how it works. The lining of a girl's uterus grows a velvety lining of tiny blood vessels.
This is your menstrual period. It's going to happen to you once a month. And so that you won't be caught off guard, you should start keeping a calendar. And let's say today is the 22nd, you started your period today. Circle the calendar for today.
When you get your first period, you might not be prepared because you don't know you've entered that part of puberty when your period starts. So whether it happens at school, at home, or anywhere, just excuse yourself, go to the restroom, and clean up. If it does happen at school, simply tell your teacher or ask to see the school nurse. As you can imagine, this happens to girls your age all the time, so there's no need to be embarrassed. They'll likely give you a pad to place in your underwear to catch any of the other flow that might happen during that day. After that, it's up to you to go to buy more pads.
One of my friends at the time, they didn't start till they were about 13 or 14.
Okay. And you're, what again, 10 and a half?
I was 11 when I started.
Well, when I started, it just kind of like came up. Like it was just like, I didn't even know it was gonna happen, and I came home and it was just there. And then I didn't really know what to think, because I was like, oh my God, like, wow, what is that? And so like, I told my mom or whatever, and she got like the good little products that I needed and everything. It was like an exciting time, all at the same time like a scary time. Like I was like, what is this? But then like at the same time I was like, I'm growing up and I'm finally getting like, and then like before I had it, like I was like anxious for when it was gonna come. So I was like, I hope it comes soon. You know, like it's like that time where you're like, I'm finally a woman.
Right around now, they start growing. For some of you, they'll grow a lot. For others, they won't grow much at all. Still, regardless of size, they can almost always make milk, whether you want to have a baby or not. Here are the stages of breast growth. In the beginning, girls' breasts are flat.
The tissue starts developing, yeah, and you should get a training bra.
Overloading. Of course, nothing controversial is discussed within this program. Only those issues students face pre-6th grade are addressed. I did want to give you some additional tools, though, that you might use in the event that a question and answer session may follow the showing of this program. Specifically,